Welcome back to News for You. In today's history segment, our topic is Jim Crow laws. On this day in history, the first Jim Crow law was put into effect, and today I'm going to tell you all about what they are and why they're still important today. So what are Jim Crow laws? Well, Jim Crow laws were laws that were put in action in order to segregate African Americans and whites post-Civil War, starting around the 1870s. These laws were created in an effort to prevent any contact between blacks and whites as equals, and applied to anything and everything, including having separate railroad cars, schools, drinking fountains, restaurants, hospitals, and even cemeteries. Here is an example of a sign from a bus station in Georgia, which points to the colored or African American waiting room. As you can probably tell, these laws were very unjust and discriminative, but it wasn't until after the Civil Rights Movement began in the 1950s that the laws finally started going away. In the 1954 court case of Brown v. Board of Education of Topeka, the Supreme Court decided that segregation in schools was unconstitutional, and thankfully, this was just the beginning of the end of Jim Crow laws. Now you must be wondering, why is this relevant to me today? Well, despite the fact that the Jim Crow laws are no longer in effect, the United States is far from a perfect fair world, and there are some who believe that a racial caste system is alive and well in the United States of the 21st century. In fact, in 2010, former litigator Michelle Alexander published a book called The New Jim Crow: Mass Incarceration at the Age of Colorblindness, which talks about how the criminal justice system targets African Americans and even offers statistics that show the reality of the number of African Americans criminalized and kept behind bars. Jim Crow laws were created to separate African Americans and whites, and although the laws don't exist anymore, African Americans are still being discriminated against in alternate ways, and it's our job to change that. Thank you for listening to News for You, and I'll see you next time. Bye!